sorry. You do not interrupt me for anything ever. Sorry.
So, how you guys doing?
Doing pretty good.
I'm doing fantastic.
I just held a thumbs up at my screen.
I think I'm supposed to set our category to tabletop RPG, though, for not doing...
Yeah, I don't think we have to be in tabletop sim for this one.
Well,
No.
I had us set to Pathfinder, and I don't think we're playing Pathfinder, are we?
No, not exactly. Liv is not feeling well with an arm that I believe, if I recall correctly, is broken, which...
Yeah.
Best of luck and hope to them for getting things sorted out. It's very hard to deal with.
Liv. I hope you recover soon.
But I'm back on my nonsense today, and we're gonna do some weird stuff.
Now, when you say weird stuff,
Uh-huh.
could you give me a category?
I could, but I also kind of just want to throw you into it and see what happens.
I am going to.
Look,
suck
in all
into it.
fairness, my mental capacity is slightly divided. I have deadlines that I am tackling
That's
a little
fair.
bit while we're doing this. I hope that's okay.
Absolutely, absolutely. We are going to be playing a side story, an omake, sort of like we did with the Gripply before. Except it's not going to be another Gripply story. In fact, it's going to be a story that takes place in a slightly different time period in this world. I had mentioned a couple hours ago in the group chat for us to think of a Bloodborne character, not explicitly someone in Bloodborne, but think of something with that that dark Victorian aesthetic. And rather than focusing on what they look like or what they wear or what they do, I want each of you to tell me two verbs that character does, that they do well, and that what they can consider to be a skill or an expertise.
Yells a lot. Is very verbose.
Loud and boisterous. That can certainly be one of your skills.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Gets around well in dark places.
Ooh. Navigation. Okay.
Mm-hmm. That's two. Do you need more or?
You're good on two.
Okay.
Sprig. So basically, you need to have some sort of the personality in your head. You don't need to worry about that right now. Right now, I just want to write down each of these skills that you have.
So each one of us has two skills for our character.
Two skills for your character, yes.
Okay, So shooting is one, because it just, it feels in line with the character idea that I've had.
Okay, good.
I'm trying to decide on the second one, because I'm a little bit on the spot still. You know, I don't know what the word would be for it, for the...
Explain it, and we can sort of figure it out.
like grit, stoicism.
Stoicism, okay.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of like the verb that it would be used.
Verb doesn't react.
Control?
Resist, maybe?
Ooh. Resistance. I like that.
Yeah.
Leveling resistance in a Souls game.
Because the whole concept of this character that I came up with was basically this picture, it like filled my brain with like, I really want to play a D&D character at some point who's basically just a redcoat. Like, she will just stand there and load and fire a musket from exactly the spot she's in, no matter what goes on around her.
Ooh, I kind of like that.
Cannonball hits the ground right beside her, doesn't matter, still loading.
Resistance could also apply to focus. I think that that's a really good secondary, that's a really good skill for you. Pole arms, what have you?
Uh, see, a Bloodborne type character. I'm going to say protective, defensive, defending. I don't know. What's the verb there?
We can just say guardian and leave it as there.
Yeah,
It's
that'll
like
work.
protect, defend, guard.
Yeah, guard. That's the verb. And protect and defend. Yeah, you're right. Then. Yeah. Boy. Um. Um.
Also, GD, you need to hop in the game.
Oh. Oh, I didn't think we'd need tabletop sim. Okay, I'm coming. Sorry, I could have sworn I asked it earlier, but I don't.
No
think
worries.
I got it.
Pole arm, what is your second skill? Pole arms, what was your second skill?
I'm still thinking.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Yeah, no.
I am absolutely putting people on the spot right now, and I get that. But I'm like building up towards a thing. Hopefully, it'll be worth the build up.
I'm gonna say soft spoken. Quiet.
Ooh,
A
good
perfect
conflict
pairing.
with GD. I like it.
Yeah.
And Magus.
All right, so I know this is I'm wearing my influences on a sleeve on this one.
That's fine.
I was thinking of going along the lines of research and compelling exposition.
Okay. So it's two different skills: researcher and
Yes.
exposition.
And compelling exposition. Because you can't get through
Exposit
Bloodborne
compellingly.
with someone expositing at you in a very
True.
compelling manner, even if it might be a little bit vague.
That's so true. Now then, I need one more thing from all of you. I need you to tell me, and this is a group thing that we're going to do together, because these cannot overlap. What is the prevailing emotion that character experiences? What is their core feeling?
Loneliness.
You know, Jay, I figured I had an idea where you were going with this, and I absolutely know where you're going with this.
So I just need the core emotions. Take your time. I'm not saying it. I'm not repeating myself to rush. I'm repeating myself to fill dead air.
Impending anxiety.
Anxiety.
No, impending anxiety.
It's much worse than the regular kind, because that one's already there.
I don't mean to alarm you, but according to my calculations, your heart might have stopped prematurely. But it's important that you listen to what comes next, for your survival will be entirely
I'm
dependent
good at
upon
listening.
that.
Sprig. Sprig, what drives this idea? This character?
I feel like there is an element of, I want to say, like, pride and patriotism, honestly.
Ooh. I like that. Polearm.
I am going to say. I'm going to say anger. Very angry
Anger.
person. Yeah.
All right. Let me set the stage, if I may. A man wakes up alone in an alleyway. He doesn't wake up because of a sound or light or a motion, but rather he wakes up because the smell of where he is lying has overcome his ability to sleep, his ability to stay in one place. He must get up and he must move. After all, today is a big day. Today's the day that he's going to kill a god.
Okay.
Who would like to be the first to attempt to control this character?
So he's attempting to kill a god.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody?
Bit
anybody
early in
else
the
wanna-
morning, I'd say.
Anybody else want to go for it? Or do you want me to do it?
What I'd like for all of you to do is, in the text part of Tabletop Simulator, type in the number of the will tokens that I've given each of you. There are 10 there. Choose how many of them you would like to try to sacrifice to be willing to be the one to control, rather than anybody else. Your goal is to try to keep the. I think you. Yeah.
I don't know why my money exploded.
Because you shook it.
It exploded before I shook it. I shook it to pull it together.
It exploded.
I just put it down and it went all over the table.
Too bad I didn't see that.
You may choose the character's goal, but individually, your goal is to keep this character in the emotional state that you have chosen.
Oh,
Oh. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
are we pulling a Disco Elysium on this poor man?
Yes. Yes.
There you go. Yes.
Of course. I should have known what the moment
Yes,
you
we
brought
are.
up emotions.
The tabletop system is called Everybody is John. And that is exactly what we're doing.
I guess I'll
So
with
go ahead and put that number in, and then everybody will hit enter at the same time. Or GD can put in
Wow,
two to begin with.
we're
That's
already
Ignore-
done.
you did not make the same time the first time you brought it up.
Okay,
Sorry.
I am ready.
Sorry.
That's fine. Does everybody put in their number?
I'm about to. Yeah, I can press enter
Okay.
whenever you want me to.
All right, everybody will hit enter in 3, 2, 1, go. That is actually amazing.
Do I win by being the opposite of all of them? Do I get a reverse stay?
Oh,
This isn't Price or Right, you get.
I
roll your
it shows
d6s.
how much you know.
Yeah.
5.
I think my die did something weird.
It rolled a 6.
Yeah,
It landed on 6, but like it just like all of its momentum just kind of came to a stop. So I think something weird happened.
That's
The
just the way
dice
that
are
the
rigged.
dice work in this game.
All right. Then.
Yeah, it sometimes
The
just feels
dice
like
were
that.
rigged all along.
Well, because what is it? Sprig got a 5, and Polearms got a 5, and I got a 6.
My joke, my joke was that you accidentally got a good big number.
All right, Magus, give me 3 of those willpower tokens.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's something I would have done, honestly.
You are now in control of this character. If you use any checks can be done on a skill check of 3 or higher if it is within your skills, or a 6 if it is not within your skills. For any skill check, anybody may add extra add a +1 to the roll to increase that by 1. You can guarantee a success that way if you desire it.
I'm sorry. Run that by me again.
D6 manages if you can do a thing. Anything that can fail. Each point of willpower can be used to increase a roll by 1 before you roll it.
Okay.
And if somebody else would like to attempt to take control, or if Magus would like to relinquish it, we have another. We use the willpower to determine who gets control.
Mm-hmm.
It is cold, but not biting. The sky is cloudy, but not raining. And you are disheveled, but dry.
So now what do I do?
Quite literally anything. You may attempt to recollect things. You may attempt to walk around and determine. This is a more cooperative thing, so you can certainly chime in, and it will become very clear where I'm going with this as we start out.
Mm-hmm.
The lights in the dock seem to be appearing to be of a very off-color persuasion, and such colors usually impede something unsettling is afoot. So it is of the utmost importance that in order for John to be able to survive the situation, they're going to have to shovel themselves right out. So we're going to have to seek shelter and clean ourselves up, because the dishevelment might be the key to how reality unravels in the near future. Don't panic! But you might die if you don't clean up.
Is it a surprise that are you at all surprised that I probably came up with the voice before I came up with everything else?
No,
not at all, and I love it.
I just wanted an excuse to have this voice.
I just hate the fact that I should have suspected this, but I still love the fact that I drew that how my voice looks like.
Yeah. What sort of place is safe for you to clean up? Do you have a actual place to stay? Do you have a commons house, or perhaps a public fountain if you don't have any shame?
How much power do I have over the suggestion of it? Can I do anything I want, or just?
You have full power, but I have full veto power.
Okay.
I shall abscond to the place that I had my tenants in when I was serving as a clock tower attendant. They had offered to give me rent at the top of the observatory in exchange for being able to clean after all of the things. I did my research, and they were paying my rent in exchange for making sure that everything was all in good order. And I'd said to them, but of course I could pay back in some capacity. And they said, well, I don't entirely know. We're having you working in an entirely voluntary capacity. So you just staying up there allows us to frighten the students at this academy that we currently have you to be doing research for.
So I'm basically slumming it in the top floor of an observatory loft or rafters.
May I adjust that?
Hunchback in a church.
Actually, I like the church analogy. Can we say it's a clock tower? Because I just did like that imagery for what you're saying.
It is an observatory / clock tower.
It's a clock tower, but there's a telescope.
It has the observatory capacity, but in order for them to make sure that they were making the most out of their discretionary budget from the government, they had to install a clock tower in there. And at every night at 11:38, the minute hand of the clock tower blocks the observatory telescope. So you have to wait about 5 minutes before you can get a good look at it. So if at any point we're going to have a solstice during the time when it's at 11:38 during a full moon or something, we're just fucked. I'll just tell you right that. Because we're not going to be able to see it coming.
The clock tower has always been cold. It just was never properly insulated, which is probably why they were willing to let people stay there, because it's not the best place to stay. It's drafty and chilly and still exudes a small sense of home. Maybe not as much home as you've felt in the past, but there is an aspect of home to it. And I think that might be meaningful to you.
I kind of like the mental image that each corner of the room is decorated differently.
At one point during his research, he had collected a smattering of what appears to be bottles and vials of colored fluids. No one had the heart to tell him that it was just food coloring in them, but he believes that it elucidates of greater importance of the things that he is seeing in the stars that they're allowing him to use through the observatory. He does not have proper academic backgrounds, but his time in academia around the area of the clock tower / observatory deluded him otherwise. I'm sure at some point he read a book.
It's the only thing a proper man can do.
You find your some clothes. You find a sink to clean yourself as best you can, and you find your gun. It is, in fact, one of these crazy alchemical things that they said would never work. There's a small place to put a canister of liquid and a small pressurized tool to launch that at a fast speed. You have a couple of different canisters that go with it. None that you've ever been comfortable with taking outside of your lab, but well,
Something to keep those nosy pests away from me.
today's a special day after
As
all.
I mean, people. By the way, I'm sorry. I'm not sure if like all the other voices should chime in when they have.
Yeah, absolutely. No. You are all controlling this character right now. Magus has veto power over any verbs that are done, but you are all controlling this character, and you all have intentions upon this character.
Also, is his voice too similar to Magus's?
I
Is this
genuinely disagree. But okay.
You're fine. Don't worry about it.
I just had to be safe.
Is that Magus just talking?
No, like
No,
I just had to make sure that it's
Don't worry,
different
buddy.
enough. I just had to make sure that it's different enough. Okay.
No worries.
So,
Anyway.
anybody can chime in. What do you do?
I have a question.
Yes, of course.
Am I playing as John, or am I talking to John and he's just going along with it?
It's ambiguous. Everybody is John. That's the point is that everybody is this simultaneously this one character. It's less Disco Elysium, more DID.
I make I will posit the notion that John is actually genuinely a pretty like well-mannered has his like is a mild-mannered gentleman of sorts, but just the all of us are like talking to him in various compelling ways of like, you need to do this thing, and he's like, I guess I should do this thing. I don't really have a reason to disagree with you, but I mean, okay, that's what's going to happen. Like specifically in that kind of mannerism, like a very Professor Utonium voice of like, well, I don't entirely know about this, but if that's what the voices are telling me.
Well, I'm not sure, but I guess they're the expert.
Should probably go get some grub before the morning leeches get there. The almshouse ought to have some nice bread or soup.
Now,
before
John, you're
anyone
going to
ever
have to
does.
listen very carefully. Today is a very important day. A very important one, if I do say so myself, because this is the point where we're going to be proving our thesis. Because the other scientists down below, they were absolutely full of shit, the decrepit little gremlins. Because what they had told you was that the science of delusionary was absolutely unfounded in the basis of reality. But we're not talking about reality, are we, my good fellow? What we're talking about is that if you believe something hard enough, it becomes a science in and of itself. So you're going to be pouring one of those liquids that they had told you was just full of food colorings, but no, it's full of demon ichor that's going to completely dispel the horridness of the monsters that are traipsing across the grounds during the full moon at night. That's going to be happening very, very, very soon. But if you
Also
put them in
known
the
as the
firearms,
spice alcohol.
if you
As
put
you're
this
putting
in the
on-
firearms,
Sorry, go ahead.
As you're putting on your clothes, you realize that the pants are much heavier than normal. Much, much heavier. There is 100 gold pieces in the pocket.
Best be careful with that before all those leeches out there try and beg you for it.
If we're going to carry funds, we should carry arms.
Suddenly, memories come crashing back into you. All of you at once are assaulted by the memories of the previous day, the previous week, the previous month, all hitting you one after another. Losing your position, losing your family, losing everything one after another sequentially. Followed by one person who gave you an opportunity with enough money to buy a small house outside of town, an opportunity with enough money that you could have a chance to start again with whatever that means to you, a chance once more, and all you had to do was to go to the warehouse, get inside, and cover something with a net. The net was going to be left at the fountain. You had agreed to this trepidatiously, but ultimately, you didn't have much of a choice. After all, today is the day that you kill a god. If you would like to examine your memories further, it will require a check, actually, because any further memory than that will be difficult to recall. Certainly possible, but
I'll roll for it.
no. But then, well, the question there is, we'll ignore that one for now.
That's much better. That's
And
more
we're
than
off.
Magus rolls. That's more than Magus rolls we're used to.
The check is a 3+ as a success for anything that you have of a skill of. The check requires a 6 for any skill that you do not. Every willpower that you spend will increases it by 1, but you must both say what you are trying to do and spend any willpower before the dice is rolled. So something as simple as, remembering something. Well, you could try to remember specifically something about what you are skilled in, or you could try to do more of a general check. And again, everybody has control simultaneously.
If anybody else wants
Well,
to jump in on this,
today
I've got a
is a
proposal.
special
but go.
day, and we're going to kill a god. So we need to check if we have special ammunition.
True.
First things food.
It's a 3.
3 is a success, so it's a 3+. You do. One of the vials that you have is full of acid strong enough to melt metal. Another one can knock somebody out, and another one, 2 other ones actually, are less savory. You have the ingredients to make more than that, but you have never were able to get the vials necessary to be able to turn them into something you could take with you. Anybody else?
Yeah, I'd like to see if I can remember how we expect to defend ourselves from this god when it attempts to retaliate.
Mm-hmm.
I say, why bother at all? Just force us to meet someone.
That's the beauty of it. Your actions will cause them to perish. The god themselves will never know that you were involved. In fact, you believe that this is going to be the best way to protect the city. You believe that.
Hmm.
Anybody else?
I feel like my emotion is very inappropriate for all this.
You know, you say that, but like, you wanted some Bloodborne stuff, and I think we're on point for that one here.
Yeah.
Hey, she wanted the Bloodborne stuff. I'm just here because it's fun. It's just like I feel like I picked the wrong emotion for this thing. unless like loneliness is like, I don't know. Well, there's one less person to meet in this world, I guess.
I think somebody who
John,
would
I
be...
don't understand. Oh, sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was just going to say that I think that somebody who would take this type of bargain is inherently a lonely person.
A little
Yeah.
mad on this one.
Yeah.
Frankly, John, I don't entirely understand why you would want to laden yourself with such gold frivolities. I know that you might want to invest on starting a new life with a house or whatever, but look at you. Look around you. Look at the wonderful cobwebs that you have decided to call your amenities. It's much more preferable to anything that might be out there on the outside for people that would be naysayers and denying you of the truths that you have discovered in all of this. You could just take that money and put it into some kind of investment scheme for research. The longer you have it laden in your pockets, the more it's going to tug your pants down, and where will that leave you? That's right, pantsless. Humiliated in front of anybody that would come before you hoping to believe you. We're going to prove these delusionist sciences and be able to end the theological despotic rule of these gods that we're going to be putting ourselves against you.
We should have just moved to the wood like I suggested years ago, but no. Never listened to me. Always listen to him, you do.
Sprig. I just wanted to mention that this is also a matter of patriotism. This idea, just to incorporate the your emotional stake in this as well, just to establish it, try to establish that on everybody's side.
Yeah, I'm thinking like... I'm not sure the house itself is that important, but I'm trying to put together enough of the information to be, like, fully on board here. So... what we are understanding, if I'm understanding right, is that by placing this net over a thing, we will be killing a god and saving the city.
Yes.
I have to ask.
Okay,
How big is this net?
the money hardly matters, does it?
You haven't seen the net because you haven't picked it up yet. The net is out by the fountain, you were told, and it must go to the warehouse. You can certainly start heading in that direction if you want to, I mean.
I'm like the present.
The way that I see it, there's a job that needs doing, and there are lives that need saving.
What are others' lives worthwhile anyway? Just taking up space, breathing.
Being in their way.
You food, pushing you around. I say leave this job. Let the city be
And
done.
where do we go? And what do we do if we're just going to pity ourselves and wallow in the dark?
We were rolled bad we got bad cards. Most just accept it or can't do anything about it.
So
Might as well
change
come.
the game.
I volunteer Parcheesi.
I'm not about to lie down and just let a bad hand decide everything for me.
Sprig, you may
Sometime.
use your willpower. In fact, anybody can use the willpower to attempt to take primary control of John.
Yeah, let's give that a try then, shall we?
You do not have to, because right now Magus has that control.
Okay.
But anybody at any
I'm
time may
up
attempt
to do it.
front.
Are we have the wager thing again?
Yep, it's a wager.
Okay,
All right,
and-
just tell us when to press.
I've got mine ready.
And I will make one thing first before I say this. Anybody who wants to wager, type your number in here, but don't hit enter yet.
Yeah.
I will make one statement though. If you do not succeed, you still lose the willpower.
Okay,
I'm ready.
I'm ready.
me too.
3, 2, 1, go. 0064.
God.
6.
Honestly,
Yep.
Just break.
that seems appropriate.
Sprig, put your tokens in the middle. And GD, put 4 of yours as
Yeah.
well.
Oh, we still have to spend it? Okay.
Yes, that's it. Yep.
Overshot there.
No, that's absolutely the intended way of doing it. That's why I love these coin tokens, is because they're very flippy.
Yeah.
Sprig, you are in control.
And there's the... As I take over John, he stiffens his spine, stands a little taller, just fully up straight, lifts his chin. And, almost, not quite a lockstep, but like down to a march. Crosses the room, picks up the rifle, the ammunition, straightens out his collar, and starts walking straight for the door.
All right. I just have one question to clarify. I'm certainly willing to offer a trench coat if you wish to hide the gun. Do you even choose to hide the gun?
Honestly, no. For this character's personality, hiding anything is wrong.
Ooh.
It's just strapped and hanging on the shoulder.
It is of vital importance that we maintain our resolute belief in what we're doing is the correct thing. Because if we try to obscure this in the slightest, there's a very strong chance that this isn't going to work, and we're just going to be quantumly cemented as a crazy homeless man.
It is only going to attract attention, you nitwit.
Let them stare.
Dignitwit.
Way to win a fair fight, not to be involved. in one of the worst
Dignitwit.
Dignitwit. You dignitwit.
That is phenomenal.
See, we can make up words, Britain.
As you go outside, you see the fountain down the street, just in front of the library. If you start walking in that direction, as I believe you implied to do, you will shortly be stopped by someone who is very tall and built like a truck. They look at you and say, "Where do you think you're going?"
I told you.
I don't think we did.
I have.
For a stroll.
You owe me 5 gold pieces from last night. You lost the bet fair and square. He brandishes a horse race ticket directly into your face. virtually punching you with it.
This is
Does I assume the horse ticket? I don't really know that much about these.
It's a failed bet that you need that he did not pay.
Okay. Yeah, 5 coins from the pocket then.
Wait.
good. Good. Just get him out of our way.
What's your deal? You've never paid that easily before. What's going on? You catch some
I have
windfall.
places to be.
John, you're going to have to say that you've been panhandling a little bit and you managed to scrape it by. It just happened to be a serendipitous day. Do it, John. You're going to have to convince him.
Tell him he just wants to. You have better things to do today than deal with him.
I have places to be and things to do.
Convince him with a bullet.
Forgot which emotion did you pick?
Anger.
Oh yeah, that makes sense.
Spig, you're going to have to roll something. What you roll is entirely up to you.
I focus, I think. It's like we have a job to do and he's just in the way.
Do you want me
Okay.
to like do the mild-mannered voice to go along with that? Like you tell him, and it's like, "Well, I'm my good man. I have somewhere more pressing. I have pressing matters that I have to get to."
Yeah, Jan, I think we're gonna have to kill this guy. Dang.
So Sprig, if I understand you correctly, you simply want to just push past him and keep on moving. Is that correct?
Hands him the 5 coins and then he talks about you've never paid this easily. I have places to go and things to do, and then just walk by.
He starts. As you walk forward, you hear over your shoulder a string of curses and angry statements, implying that he's going to find out what your deal is and get the rest of the money that you owe one of these days. You have no memory of owing him anything else. And 5 gold is a lot.
Going to try to rob us again.
It's
The
one of those.
fountain-
If he,
Go ahead.
okay. If he tries anything, we might as well let anger deal with that one. I do not particularly enjoy that man's company.
The fountain takes up most of the square. It is quite enormous to the point where it would take a minute or two simply to walk all the way around it. There are several coins in the bottom, and you've been in trouble in the past for fishing them out when you needed. There are fountains of various frogs and birds that's spouting water, and you've taken that to be your source of drink many times. There is a large duffel bag just above the comfortable reach on top of one of the statues. I suspect that might be it for you. It is crowded, though. You will be you are seen already. You are not terribly inconspicuous.
Guess it was later in the day than I thought it were.
It's still
Just
fairly
reach
early.
for the
But
bag, I guess. It's by above comfortable reach. Is it like even on tiptoes and reaching, you wouldn't be able to reach it, or?
you're gonna have to climb up a little bit. The risk is slipping and falling into ungracefully, but it will still be a check.
What about just like using the butt of the rifle to push it?
Use the butt of the rifle to try to push the bag to the edge and just get it to fall off. It catches. Part of the strap is actually looped around on the fountain so that it could not be just pulled down by anybody. You may have to make a scene.
Well, making a scene it is, I guess.
This will be a check. Remember, you must spend any willpower before you roll, and if it is not related to your skills, then it requires a 6 to hit. And again, you can convince me on your skills. I mean, don't try to BS me, but you can try to convince me on how your skills apply to
it's
things.
just
It's normal.
People staring is not even remotely a concern for me, at least.
That is fair.
I have a thing to do that's in front of me right now. Cause I mean, like, I can't think of anything else that the ledge doesn't appear to be slippery or anything. I don't care at all that I'm making a scene. And just focus. And I got it too.
All right.
Once again, the focus of ill eyes.
You get up to the.
I could convince.
Okay.
I could convince these gentlemen and otherwise. What for? Just put me in, coach.
Do not do it.
Is that a challenge for control?
It is a
Because
proposal.
you can just, like, try to do a check without being the one in control.
I could, but that would require me using willpower. And I'm asking nicely before I try taking it.
You don't need... What?
I will.
Am I
I'll
misunderstanding how this is supposed to work?
No, I'll
Because
attempt
it's
to
just I
bid
have
for it.
veto control, right?
Yes.
Oh, okay,
But
then
you
I'm
can
gonna
still
make
do a check, it's just
Right.
I have the veto.
Yeah,
Alright, I'm gonna make an attempt then.
Okay?
How much willpower do I need to use?
Any amount that you want. The target number is a 3 or a 6, depending on skill or not. You have to spend the willpower to buff it before you roll.
I will spend 1 willpower.
Okay.
Do I need to say my piece first or roll?
We'll also spend 1.
Okay. That's plus 2.
Okay,
Was
so
it-
I'm going to roll.
All right.
Here we go. Here we go.
There we go. There we go.
So does that succeed or fail?
You clamber
What are
up.
you doing?
So can I describe what I'm
Please.
doing for this
Absolutely.
one? Okay.
Yes.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to flourish my cloak as I walk over to everyone and says, "Ladies and gentlemen, I hate to be of an interruption to the rest of you. You are free to dismiss my ramblings as the frivolities of a crazed madman at your peril. But what I will say is that it is of the utmost importance that tonight that I progress with my experimentation unabated. For there is a net that I am seeking that is going to be vital for me to be able to stop the comings and goings of a god that has been inconveniencing and assailing all of you and your conveniences for your harvesting of victuals that you have at this establishment. And I assume it's of high quality."
As I explain enthusiastically about the means of which I tend to fell this god with my delusionary science. I almost said magic, but I corrected myself because I am a professor of the highest degree of research.
He's going to get us beaten by the gods again.
There is an interesting dichotomy on the street. That is to say, many of the shopkeepers, many of the locals, many faces that you recognize, are completely unsurprised at seeing you saying this. But at the same time, there are several people who must be from foreign lands or from farther away who look shocked, appalled. One, picks up her pet frog and clutches it close to her chest and just hurries along.
Aw.
Yes, you have every reason to be as coward as most people upon hearing the doom that might be sailed upon you from these other gods of horror. But I have the fortitude and the wherewithal to make this happen.
You
To
are able
prevent this. I am your savior, so you should give me a drink of something. My voice is parched.
You are able to get the bag down. You have to climb up and dislodge it from part of the statue that it was wrapped around so it wouldn't fall into the wrong hands. Inside the bag, I mean, presuming that you open it, or actually, where do you open it? I guess would be a better question if you do at all.
Well, I did my thing, so I've done my.
Honestly, right in the square.
We might as well check.
Take a
Check
peek
what we-
inside and see what it looks like.
Might as well check what we came all the way out of bed for this.
Inside the bag is something that catches your breath. It is a net. It is exactly as you expected, but the strands of the net seem to be woven from long human hair, and at every single cross point where one line meets another, hundreds of times over, maybe even thousands of times over, at every single intersection there is a small blue crystal. It's beautiful, and the amount of labor that must have gone into it is simply striking.
Well, that's no net that we've ever snatched out of the bay for before.
The net is probably worth more than the payment. But
Undoubtedly.
we have a role to fill. And it's not to pawn a net. We should be going
We
to the
don't
warehouse, I
even-
think.
We don't even remember what happened the other night. Why should
So
we?
would you rather watch over your shoulder for a face that you don't recognize to come kill you for a stolen net?
That would be improved.
We have places to be and things to do.
Mark my words. We'll regret this.
We would regret stealing it. At least twice as much, I would imagine. Do we know where the warehouse is that we're supposed to go to?
You do. It is not that far of a walk. Will you be heading in that direction immediately?
Yep.
Very well. Walking through the city is different than normal. You're filled with this resolve, this strength, this focus. And many people simply get out of your way. Because when you see someone with a firearm moving swiftly and sternly, that's usually the best idea.
Yeah.
Unless you happen also to be somebody with a firearm and who is there to make sure nobody else gets into the docks. Before you even get close enough to get to a gate, a guard starts walking towards you with a tilt in his head and a bit of a slant in his eyebrows.
I've warned you.
How many times are you going to say that?
As many times as I'm proven right.
Yeah, actually, it's just gonna be a officer and a nod and just attempt to walk right past him, not even recognizing
Whoa. Stop right
that
there.
we're the problem.
Nope, stop right there.
But... Alright,
Do you stop to clarify?
yeah. Being told to stop, I would stop, but like,
It's a worthwhile
why
question,
am I
though.
being stopped? It's a, wait, what?
What's your business?
Delivering a net and heft the bag.
I haven't heard anything about this. I'm gonna have to check with some people first.
Oh, good. More people.
What, a net? That's not on the schedule.
He's trying to fleece you, you
To be fair,
I
if we're
like the
going
idea, it's
to
like I'm
the
gonna have to check.
docks, on foot to deliver something.
I'm gonna have to check with this, and just my voice's immediate response is,
Yeah, who doesn't have that according to the schedule? Like, honestly, like, why would you even bring that up? Man's a weirdo, John. You're gonna have to just dismiss him.
He's
He's a
trying
silly
to
person.
scam you, you boggard.
It's a
The
trap.
guard.
Who
The guards-
needs to report the net?
The guard scans through the street, and his eyes settle on a bench. Go sit over on that bench for a few minutes, all right? I'll see if what any deliveries needed to be. And he sort of stares at you just to make sure that you do follow directions.
Perhaps the seat
So,
might be in. Perhaps the seat
I'm just
might
like piecing together really quick. So like
Mhm.
the docks are basically gated off. There's a guard to stop anybody coming in. Just
Yes.
anybody coming in.
Correct.
Okay.
You can see the warehouse that you were told to go to from here. It's warehouse number 5, and it's just about, it is just past the gate and a little bit to the east.
How many guards are there?
You can see a couple of inside in the warehouse area, but in front outside there is simply one at the gate. There was currently, speaking with you.
I told you wielding around that gun is gonna cause nothing but trouble and attention.
I would prefer to have it and not need it than need it and not have it.
Need I remind you, he was more concerned about the net than he was the gun. I think he's a cultist.
The gun is
I was
why-
waiting a moment to see if Bill had an idea of something that you wanted to do before I.
Oh, I just think you should shoot him.
That would
You can
get
see right where you put the bullet right on his forehead. All you
That
have
would-
to do is bring it up in a practice motion.
that
Snap.
would draw even more attention.
But it get him out of our way.
So by the way, this guard is by himself right now, right?
That is correct.
Can we potentially try to, like, the moment he looks away, mysteriously disappear? Because getting more people involved is absolutely something I wouldn't want.
Well, first question is do you follow his instructions and go to the bench?
So my
I
idea there
feel
would
like
be
the first, like, there's information that I still would have volunteered because I have no shame for what we're doing. We,
To be
look,
fair, you
we
are in
have a
control,
legitimate job to do. There's a task to complete. We are 100% doing the right thing. There is no shadow of a doubt.
Is that all out loud?
yes.
No, that's all, like, internally.
Okay.
Oh, that's
Externally, the volunteering is the, like, we're delivering, like, the net is being delivered to the warehouse number 5, you said it was?
Mhm,
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah, I'm delivering the net to warehouse number 5.
If he was a more practiced or a more seasoned veteran, he might not have taken half a step back when you said that. Stay here. We'll be right back. I'll be back with just a moment, okay? Stay here. Turns off and starts walking toward He goes up to the gate, goes through it, closes it behind him, and walks a little bit more swiftly than than would be considered normal.
We should book it before he comes back. We can always get in the warehouse some
I
other
feel
way.
like just in case, loads the rifle with the knockout shot, stands at attention with the butt of the rifle on the floor on the ground.
I thought it was a pistol.
It got morphed into a rifle, and I'm cool with that.
Okay.
Sorry, I had the mental image already of the
Yeah.
character, so like gun
No,
was rightfully
I'm
in my
fine with
head.
it. We just have to. I just want to make sure that all the things that we all have roughly the same mental image.
Yeah. And I think I initially described it as gun, and when Sprig said rifle, I'm like, okay, that works. Sure.
Because it's like a pistol would have definitely been easier to conceal.
Mm-hmm. Well, with Sprig in charge, concealing is not exactly hidden on the table.
My emotion doesn't like people, so this is like absolutely not its in its element right now.
Mm-hmm.
My emotion also doesn't like people, but in a different way.
True.
That is true.
Are you going to sit and wait for them to return? Because at the moment, there is nobody
Just
around you.
standing right where he told me to stay.
So part of me is like, hey, can I roll to try and?
You could do that, yes.
Yeah. Okay.
To try to what?
To
GD?
try and convince him to not be spotted by these by the other guards when he comes back.
Are you asking to make a willpower check? To take
I
control?
think that's what I'm. Oh no, not take control. I am saying myself for maybe something else. That for something else.
Sprig is
I
willing
thought
to
this-
wait
I thought
here
this
for the
was
guard to
a
return.
dice roll.
Yeah, I'm willing to wait right here, but I'm also willing to converse and like,
Mm-hmm.
because I am a focused, driven, like
Didn't you? Okay,
I'm doing exactly what I'm here for.
Mm-hmm.
I have a very specific kinds of scenarios to potentially use mine on, but but for now, I guess I'll try and convince discourse. I guess.
Discuss.
Yeah.
Hmm?
What do you think will, given his reaction to just you having a net at a dock, no less? Do you think that it's a bit suspicious that he has to go get his buddies in order to just confirm you bringing in a net? For that matter,
Confirming
why are there
by
guards? For that matter, why are there these the guardsmen at the front of a warehouse anyway? Isn't that just
It's
a
a
little?
dog that's fully common.
Ooh.
Reporting to a commanding officer is completely within the norm, though his stride was certainly disconcerting in how speedily he was ready to retreat.
Who would
How
recognize?
it is,
Actually,
Michael.
Sprig would recognize
We
this
were
the most.
told to
Interesting.
wait, and I have no other reasoning to go somewhere else. We have a job to do.
Sprig. And everybody else? You know what? I'm going to phrase this in a more dynamic way. Sprig, you would have realized this from the beginning, and now, from your understandings and memories, everybody else can recognize it as well. The guard is wearing military regalia.
Well, that is awfully strange. What would a military guard be doing at a dock warehouse?
I told you.
Delivering a
Alpha's-
net.
That seems to raise the stakes of this net. Does it not? Would you wish to risk your task impeded by him potentially saying no, or worse, incarcerating you? That'll make things quite a bit difficult, won't it?
Do you propose an alternative?
If you are going to go with this foolishness, then I suggest sneaking in as a better alternative.
True. And if he retrieves his commanding officer and any reinforcements to come deal with us here, they'll be that much further off.
Well, now is a good time to make yourself scarce before they have time to realize the error of their task.
Well, the sneaking about is your field of expertise, is it not? Where should we be going? And just slings the rifle back up on his shoulder.
Are there any, like... So there's, like, a fence, right? Before docks?
Yep.
And it's, like, a public docks first that is currently being, like... Well, public docks that is currently being...
I mean, it's pretty much on lockdown right now, just, with a gated guard.
As always, these places are always maintained. There's either a hole or some place to scatter upwards to get over this fence.
You do have a vial of something that can melt metal.
It could just melt.
I think then let's head.
There may be a Is there maybe a scaffolding somewhere down the road? Unlike an opposing buildings.
So, if this is the docks, then is this like a... Oh, what's the word?
In GD, there are some buildings that are nearby. Well, there's not a scaffolding per se. The rooftop of one of the buildings is not... It does effectively overhang the fence.
There's our entryway. Why don't you use those skillful hands and feet of ours and climb up there through there?
I'd like for you to roll navigation. Roll navigation.
Okay.
That's your skill.
Yep.
Navigate through the dark. Oh, 3.
3 is that's the target number. If it is your skill, 3 is a success.
Yeah, navigating and traversal is your field of expertise.
Yeah. And when you said it first, you said dark, but you meant dock because you're navigating through the dock.
Yeah.
Funny man, you. But no, I dig it. In any case,
The easiest way would be to go in through the soup kitchen, then go up through the back back of it upstairs, and then up to the roof.
Sounds good to me. Straight in the front door.
Hey John, it's good to see you up and dressed. How you feeling today?
just tell her we're here for a quick bite. Right, then we must be off.
We don't have time for a bite. We have a job to do.
Just take a piece of bread.
On an errand right now. Maybe just a heel of bread if you don't mind.
Yeah, no problem. I'd like for you to come in and sit and talk for a while. I heard about what happened to Mary, and I just wanted you to know that if you need someone to talk to, I'm here, okay?
Oh, brother.
We were just... She starts walking towards a large heel of dark bread and breaks off a chunk of it to hand to you. It's just... Well... Me and the girls, we've been talking, and we're worried about you. You've got a mind like a steel trap, but... Look, just know that we're here for you, okay?
Right.
I've had quite a bit of conversation the past few days, but I appreciate the offer.
If she believes that we've got the mind of a steel trap, we're going to have to explain that some of those hinges have gotten a bit rusty.
That's a good one.
And I feel like there's the same. I kind of feel like there's that same like rigid stride across the room, up the stairs, while at the same time, Dictator is taking over for the eating and is like devouring the bread.
I actually think he'd be one of those things like he looks at the bread, gets it, and then goes, "Ugh, dark bread. too much of a hassle. Meanwhile, I'm over here.
It's like, no, take the calories we need for the journey ahead.
In this particular in this particular instance, he's more annoyed at the offers of help than the bread. The bread he takes.
As you walk, there's some other people that you know closely and possibly intimately, sitting at the tables, eating some simple fare, soup, bread, and cheese, talking about offerings and talking about duels. And how much of this do you absorb?
I'm ignore them. They ain't got nothing worthwhile to say anyways. Always yapping about some poor schmuck that got himself killed by the bobbies.
Does anybody dissent?
Keep my attention on them, but I don't really pay attention to what they're saying. I'm just watching to see if they're danger.
Okay. They are not a danger.
They
You
are
are able
not a
to...
danger nor an obstruction, therefore they do not exist.
Three in agreement here. Roughly.
I will have Magus roll researcher, just if, when he gets back.
Yes, of course.
Oh, okay.
Here we go. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. I got a tool.
There was something else important today, but it didn't affect you. So, you only are of mind of the thing that is important to you today. You are not stopped from going upstairs, and once you're upstairs, it is simply more of a warehouse-style area. Going up the stairs again will put you onto the roof. The roof that is all but adjacent to that chain link fence that's between you and the warehouse.
Can we see the soldier that had been guarding the gate from here?
Yes. Him and 3 other guards are frantically looking around the streets.
You see, if it was nothing, he wouldn't have come back with 3 of his buddies. Just to check. I'll on it go before
Better
they
to
know
ask
it.
forgiveness than permission, I suppose.
I'll get over that wall before they spot you up here.
Yep.
Are you just gonna take a
I
jump
guess we
for it?
climb down the fence.
I mean, unless we see anything else like a plank going over there conveniently, I think we
There.
have to jump.
Yeah, I think you would have to jump and to grab hold of the fence. Who would like to add their willpower to this fairly important check?
I guess I have to. I suggested this course of action.
All right, good luck. I'm
Oh, wait.
saving mine for the big britches.
Hey, I got a 4.
Yeah, so with the 3 focus, or the 3
Yep.
willpower, we're over.
That is a success. You're able to jump from the roof with your, let's be honest, not terribly athletic body, and successfully manage to catch a hold of the chain fence and pull yourself over it and bring yourself down.
All right, now quickly while they're thinned out a bit more, let's get this over with. there like is there like a window or something?
There are no
Every
windows. This is the only warehouse that has no windows on it. There's a door, and you're fairly sure that around the backside there is a larger door. But on this side there is a simple door. You are
Well, ain't that a kick in the blimey?
You are not terribly obscured at this vantage, though.
Better to just go in and get out of sight than hang
Yep.
around.
Better to just be in there.
It is locked.
Of course.
We still have
is.
that the melting stuff.
Yep. Acid.
Yeah, this is the moment I wanted to save it for. Might as well use that fancy gun of ours.
I don't think that we need to we don't need to fire the gun to do this.
What is your suggestion? Roll muscles and rip it apart?
Just pour the vial of acid on it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yep, the vial... No, GD is correct in that the vial of acid is currently in an ammunition piece for the gun, but Sprig is also correct that you can just use it as a vial. I mean, it's...
Yeah, I was under the impression it was like an unopenable bullet or something.
No, it is absolutely openable because you made it yourself.
Fair.
Plus, it's
Anyway.
made out of glass, so if we really wanted to break it open, we could probably do that.
Well, in any case, pour one out, Mr. Gorbachev. Or I don't know what reference I was going for here.
Yeah, just melt the lock off and open the door.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
All right. This will require a materials handling.
This one's on you, Chief.
Which one of us is the chief?
Yeah.
The one that's in charge right now.
I thought,
I'll throw another
that's what I was
focus
in
in.
charge.
Would any of you like to convince me on a skill?
Not me on this one. I want to see where it's going.
Yeah, this is
I
you
just-
like handling hazardous materials because I am going through that door. Focus is not. My brand of focus is not very useful for carefully stopping and measuring the situation if we haven't noticed.
Mine is to just go through go around things and through an area, not on directly going through a thing. So.
Yeah. I mean, your navigation got you this far. So, I see one coin in the center. Is anybody else going to contribute to this handling check?
Yeah, I'm down to 2. I got nothing left.
I'll contribute just to save ourselves from our own stupidity.
I'm holding on to mine. You never know.
If only one of us had some sort of ability for gathering information.
I wonder who that could be.
Right.
I guess we're rolling for 6.
+3.
That's a 5.
Oh no, we should have researched. How could you, John? You besmirched your books.
I told you
Just
we
like,
should.
like the gesture of like John just giving that gesture of like for real, bro.
So it's basically just like, there's probably acid on it. Sleeve over the hand, grab the doorknob, open the door.
I told you we shouldn't have gotten up today.
So that was, in fact, a failure.
Yep.
Yep.
Polearms, you
Yes.
have the skill of gentle. I would like for you not to scream as parts of the acid splash on your leg.
Right. This is really my skill, so I just need a 3 or better, and I think I just
3.
got this.
Mhm.
Well, I shout
Nope.
really loud.
slow rolls today. I see.
Difficulty normal. Failure.
The acid does bite through the lock. The door is open, but the splash on your leg burns with a searing heat. Your scream cuts out across the dock. There is no chance that anybody failed to hear it. They will be coming.
Quick, get in. We can at the very least hide in there.
Inside of the warehouse is a networked maze of shelves, all mostly carrying smaller things, more along the lines of library shelves than what you would expect in a warehouse. On the far end, there is a pallet-sized, a pallet-sized crate that is opened on two sides. That show 2 sides in the top, rather. Inside of there are hundreds of mystic crystals. These crystals can be drawn upon for power. Anybody who has a magical art of any form can touch this crystal and draw its energy into themselves as a battery, as a mana battery, to be able to do whatever it is that they need. You remember...
Too bad we don't have any fancy nonsense for us to use here.
What are you talking about? The delusionary sciences could also argue that we have experience with the arcane. Yes.
The gun is not arcane.
It is if we will it to be. That's how it works. You've got to want it bad enough, honey.
I don't think you know what that means.
It means you've got to want it bad enough, honey. Back that ass up into the arcane and the magic's unknown.
Regardless, unless you can magic us an invisible tent, we...
So, I have a
Delve into that
really
deep
quick.
dumpy, as it were.
The door that we came in from, it was a push to open, right?
Yes.
So could I just, haul one of the crates from the shelves and block the door with it?
It would be some form of a strength check, but you could certainly try.
This seems like a foolish errand. They're going to be coming in from the front door too. We'll just be trapped in here.
Slowing them down from one direction at least gives us only one target to shoot at a time.
Point accepted.
All of a sudden, a memory clashes into all of you simultaneously. You know what this net will do. This type of net, on top of those types of crystals, would allow somebody to draw into it at a farther distance from virtually anywhere in the kingdom.
I see.
But we're not here for that. We're here to kill a god.
Yeah, I think we may be here for that.
Wow, I have rolled 10, 9, 10 on this die.
Oh boy.
The king is responding to a duel today.
So what's it matter to us? They don't give a shit about people like us. Let him get
The
shot.
king is a man, not a god.
My point still stands. Let him get shot.
Sprig?
Yeah?
Just because, as the DM, I do have veto and clarification power.
Hey.
No.
Oh. Okay. So, because I've been under a certain impression, I guess, the whole time.
By my design entirely, yes. This was
Yes.
I was intentionally giving you limited knowledge for going into this for this. But yes, that is correct.
But I am in favor of our country.
And what
Maybe
has
not
our
everything,
country done?
but
And what has
I
our
don't know
country
anything else
done
about
for-
the king then.
Let me.
What has the Oh, okay. I'm just gonna.
No. Go ahead, GD. Go ahead. I'll cut in after.
And what has our dear king done for us lately, other than let us sleep in his illustrious trash-filled streets?
I have a question for all of you. I have a question for each of you. GD. Is it fair that only you feel loneliness?
No.
Sprig. Is your gun for the king or the people of the nation?
The people.
Magus. What do you fear?
That perhaps, possibly, we might be wrong.
Polearms. What drives you to anger?
State of the world. Our fate, our lot in life. It's not fair.
Sprig. Is it fair that only you can experience this crushing loneliness?
I feel like I can't say yes or no to that.
Okay. Magus, do you raise your gun for the king or for a country?
Are those the two options?
Today, yes.
I suppose the country then. King seems like he urinates in public.
Polearms. What are you afraid of?
Everything.
GD. What drives you to anger?
People.
Sprig. What drives you to anger?
My own powerlessness.
Magus, is it fair that only you experience this loneliness?
I think entirely what matters is that solitude has to have a function in some capacity, so I would say that I mean, I suppose it's fair. We're doing a service for the greater of the good, and somebody has to do it in some capacity.
Polearms. Do you raise your gun for the nation or for the king?
I raise my gun for the nation.
GD. What makes you angry?
crushing disappointment when people fail you over and over.
Hmm. Sprig, must the life of a soldier be lonely?
No.
Magus, do you raise your gun for king or for country?
I already said my question. I said country.
Wait, no, dang it, maybe I get the order wrong. Dang it, I may have messed up my order. I was trying to like stagger
Yeah,
this
you
so
messed
everyone
up the
answered everything.
order.
Dang it! So close. There's only 2 left.
You were asking me. You were probably going to ask me
Yes.
what pisses me off.
Yes. What makes you
Yeah.
angry? And I was supposed to ask Sprig what she fears. But yes.
I'll be honest, not being taken seriously.
Mm-hmm. Sprig, what do you fear?
I think loss of control fits the most. Or loss of agency, sorry.
Yeah. And I forget which one was left for polearms. Which one didn't you answer? I got lost in the weeds here a bit.
What makes
Not
you angry?
sure. Yeah.
What makes you angry?
I think you might have
Because
What
said
makes
it
me
was-
angry?
Bill was the one after, so that would be...
Yeah, that would make sense. What makes me angry?
Actually, no. Yours would be, do you deserve this
I was
loneliness?
thinking mages.
Oh,
Sorry,
yes.
yeah. Do you deserve to be lonely? Sorry.
What was that,
I
polearms?
deserve to be lonely. Thinking. Yes, I deserve to be lonely. It is the
Okay.
cost that I pay.
You shake yourself. These moments of these lapses are not common, but they are discouraging every time that they happen. That you feel a thump against your door and against the door, and find that you are braced against a bookshelf that is itself braced against the door. The other entrances must be locked for them to be trying to push through this one. As this was a lapse, we will have another contest of willpower.
All right. Got mine ready.
All right, everybody with their wagers are ready.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yep.
3, 2, 1. Display.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
All right. And yep. Tell me what you do.
I suppose I pulled the trigger.
Move.
on what? On what exactly?
On the situation, like we're going
Ah.
forward with this thing. I mean metaphorically, of course.
Metaphorically,
obviously.
okay. we do have a gun. I don't know if you know this, but
Yeah.
we do have a gun.
Oh God, what?
A rifle. A rifle specifically.
If I understand you, you're going to walk down to the crystals.
Yes.
As you walk down to the crystals, the banging behind you gets slightly more distant. But as you approach them, almost the entire wall in front of you lurches and begins to rise up.
That doesn't seem good.
What do you do?
Well, I head down towards the crystals, I suppose.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to examine, based on the books that we had read about this, to see what we're supposed to do with these crystals, if we have to put the net on them or what.
Exactly. Yes.
So do I roll?
That's exactly correct. All you have to do is open the bag, grab the net, and lay the net over the crystals.
How big is this net?
It is big enough to cover them. It is the size of a blanket.
Alright, we're going to do it.
Roll for it.
Oh.
The net gets tangled as you try to pull it out of the duffel bag. The door is in front of you, the wall, moving wall. You can see dozens of feet on the other side of it. You can see ankles. In a moment, you will see knees.
Climb the wall. Climb the shelving.
It's the.
Can't hide in any of the boxes, but we can try. But we can go to a place that most do not watch. Come on, do it like at the fountain.
Magus, you have agency at the moment? You not?
I would relinquish in this instance.
Very well.
I fucked it up. I stumbled on the thing. I did what I was supposed to do, and then
Yes, it's up to me to get us out of
We
this.
still have a job to do.
Make another
Yes,
wager
it's
of willpower.
Oh, so wait.
Yeah, type it in. I'll count down. Same as before. It has been relinquished.
All right. Everyone ready?
3, 2, 1. Reveal. All right. GD and everyone must spend the willpower. GD and Sprig roll a d6 to.
Keep overshooting.
5.
Come on. Ah!
It returns to Sprig.
There is still a job needs doing. We came here for the thing. We're not going to abandon it.
It's not gonna do us a lot if we're in prison or dead.
So,
We won't have to be the lonely one anymore.
Lonely is safe.
And I think just focus, just ignore all the distractions. Untangle the net.
Oh,
you are able to untangle that net. You needed a 6 and you got a 6. Very good. The net is untangled. You see knees and thighs, and a few people are starting to duck underneath the gate.
And lay the net on top of the box.
Their pistols are already drawn. There's a searing feeling in your leg from the acid, and another searing feeling explodes in the same leg further down on the calf. You have one chance. Would anybody like to use the willpower for this?
So what exactly is happening? Just to be very, very, very clear.
You are being shot.
But-
What is happening
okay,
is...
okay. I heard that, and like due to like what's been going on, I'm like, did the something fall on us, or is it like actually just we're getting shot?
Yes, no, you are currently being shot. This will be the last chance that you have.
I'll roll this one.
So, okay.
That is +5.
Actually, yeah, that's way more than we need because I can do this one as a skill.
That
So-
you leave it. No, I'm gonna say leave it though. This is
You have to say it before you roll. So.
Yep.
There.
Well-
Boo.
That's a 10.
amazing.
The things I do for our survival.
One sec. The last thing that John knows is pride as the net settles onto the crystals and all of them begin to flash as the energy begins to drain out of them rapidly. The small bits of pain that sear through his body, well, they don't diminish the smile on his face. There is a footnote in the Journal of Histories that Rodelac has that mentions a failed assassination attempt on the Good King. And that footnote is all that remains of John.
Well, I could have gone better.
We'll get him next time.
Again, this is me doing, by design, I wanted to play around with the concepts of it, I wanted to just...
Yeah.
I mean,
it's a
I
fun
would-
concept.
I mean, normally I would have done all of the investigative things and I would have been very supportive of it. But that would have meant having to talk to or listen to people that I hate.
Yeah, and everyone as John is about getting people out of their comfort zone, right? It is about, putting you in a situation that is completely unreasonable. That well, not completely unreasonable. There are many people who do suffer from DID, and I have nothing but respect for them. I know a couple of people do, but this is supposed to put you into the shoes of someone who does not have agency over their own body fully, and that can be a terrifying, thought. And I knew from the beginning I wanted this to be a tragedy, because that's something that we don't explore very often in the as in tabletop narratives,
Should have just listened to me. We would have just. I knew I should have rolled for. Here's the thing: had I wanted to very early on, I wanted to immediately take control, and all John would have, and I would have told him we're just going back to bed.
I'd like some feedback on this. This is my first time trying this system, and first time trying something like this, so... Yeah.
I think it's fun. I think it's an interesting concept, but it might be a bit too much to grasp for some people.
Oh, yeah, there's...
Yeah, it's a
That's
little
fair.
esoteric, but I think that's fine.
It was fun, but I feel like having a slightly more concrete understanding of the setting that we were in would have helped a lot.
Yeah. And I struggled with that because I was trying to decide if I wanted to give that or if I wanted to intentionally obfuscate that, as it went along. And that, I probably should have front-loaded that better.
Yeah, I think certain basic character traits of John that he would have done in the past, even if it's a small one, he actually
Losing John wasn't too difficult to work with, I don't think. But we don't know anything about the country, we don't know anything about the king, we don't know anything about John, we don't know any, like,
Yeah,
Yeah.
obfuscation of like information, even like basic one. Oh, also, there's a little hat on this.
And
shirt.
that's
yes,
also
we didn't have a frame to kick off of, basically.
that's fair.
Yeah. Yeah, like even a drunkard that doesn't care would have at least some very basic idea of like things locally in the city, or at least
And
something that. Sorry.
And I was giving you a chance to listen into that in the soup kitchen. I was going to have that be, those be the discussion topics, and that was going to be the moment where you actually could realize the scope of what you and intent of what you were doing. But you guys kind of shuffled by that, so I was like, okay.
Well, let's think about
That's
the
on me.
emotions that we're running here. We have anger, doesn't care. We have apathetic loneliness, which means doesn't care about listening to people unless they have something to offer him grandly. We have constant level of rising anxiety, which even if it could listen, it would not hear a thing. And then we have like pride in doing one's work and single-mindedly focusing on a task. Literally the worst kind of thing for a character to have if you want them to pay attention to anything.
And that's why I decided not to railroad and cram exposition down your throat, is because this
was my job.
You guys were clearly focused on, were clearly making the character a character that existed in this moment for this task, and nothing else mattered to them, which honestly I think worked really well. I didn't want to try to shoehorn the original exposition that I had intended to add onto that, because the dynamic of this is a person who is, not of sound mind and is, and believes that they can save the world. Like this, I figured that focusing on that would be more emotionally, driven than exposition.
The thing ultimately was just like, I mean, had I rolled like if I had invested like 6 tokens or something like right at the gate, he would have just went to sleep until like or had eaten something to calm him. But if I remember, like the stench, you said the stench would have made him like is what woke him up. Yeah. Yeah, so even if not that, he would have done just anything plausible just to like avoid his task for the day, because that might require him to deal with people.
I will say, in modern writing, we focus so much on heroes' journey stories and coming of age stories that completely reasonable and valid forms of storytelling of tragedy and honestly just most drama is simply ignored by a lot of the art community, especially the arts that we tend to follow. That is to say, we tend to follow animation, stage, and video games. And yeah, that's what I went in with the thought process of was I wanted to have a tragedy, but I don't want to do like a tragedy campaign. That's that's a lot.
Yeah. That's a lot of commitment.
Yeah.
That's why, I will I'll do a quick aside of, like, the one tragedy that I remember playing in recent memory was Cyberpunk, and it was a very bold choice to make, like, 100-hour RPG a tragedy.
The anime as well, yeah. They're both very good. Plus, Cowboy Bebop is a classic tragedy as well.
Yep.
And those are very good.
Yeah. I think it's probably why they stick with people so much, partly at least.
Yeah. I really liked that moment of connection between the different pieces where I asked you each about each other's motivations. I like that moment. But yeah, I was back on my nonsense and wanted to do something that was strange and esoteric today.
It was a good time.
It was a good time.
I am glad. Thank you. So yes, other stuff that I had
Well-
planned on clarifying / adding to this, because I want you to have I do want you guys to have all the exposition that I intended to deliver by this. The world of the Gith, of the ancient race, is genuinely loving and outreaching, but that doesn't mean that people don't get hurt. And there is still strife and conflict, even when someone who is overwhelmingly respected and revered as a god king has been on the throne for 200 years, which is when this was intended to take place, 200 years after Ascension.
Well, like I said, honestly, that would just I feel like having that kind of knowledge would have empowered my character then, because if he were such a good king, we would not be in a situation like this now, would we? And he would have either just kept on sleeping, or just ignoring the king in whatever manner that he can.
But I've wanted to run everyone as John for so long and just never had an opportunity.
It was an opportunity.
You had your opportunity. And you
Yay!
got it.
Yay! Okay,
All
next
it
time
took
it'll be a
was
regular
Liv-
session, though.
all it took was Liv being sick again.
Yeah,
Oh, freak
shout outs to Liv. I hope that she feels better soon.
Yeah.
Never had a broken arm, but it seems unpleasant.
They
Yeah.
aren't fun.
I've never broken a bone, but I have had one stolen from me.
I just find it funny that most of us picked okay. Technically, it's more of a neutral at minimum, I'd say. And rising anxiety is, but most of us picked at least 3 of us picked a negative one emotion.
And that was when I said when I set it up with Dark Victorian. I kind of was hoping that was going to be the angle, because I knew I was writing a tragedy, and I figured,
I don't know. I think like my headspace at least was a neutral good kind of alignment.
Yeah, it was.
No, that is true, but wait, what was yours specifically again? Just because I'm stupid.
I listed as pride and patriotism.
Yeah, pride, patriotism, and focus.
Yeah, that's fair, but that can be taken into any direction. But yeah, neutral is probably better. But
The
it can very
intent
easily
was
spiral
like
into a
neutral
negative.
good.
Yeah, but it can easily spiral into a negative.
That was why,
Well,
like,
anything
there
can.
was the that was why there was the second questioning in my head of that moment when we got to the crystals thing. Was like, oh, there's a duel with the king today. In my headspace, at least, I was thinking like king. In which case, we're here to kill a god, not a man.
Yep, and I had intended for John to make that distinction replaceable in his mind.
Well, for loneliness, it might as well have been the same either way. It's a person he'll never meet. It's a person he'll never care about, but he will be impacted by them, so he loads them as much as anyone else.
But yeah, if you had followed plot lines for the duel, you would have learned that the person who was making the duel attempt against the king was planning on using the king's own store of these mana batteries to power themselves against him, so that he could draw upon them in the duel.
Yeah, makes sense.
That was the plot line that you guys, which is again, fine. But I just want to tell you guys, because again, this does relate to the main game in a tangential way. That, yeah, okay. In summary, gaming. I like strange, weird, experimental RPG systems.
Yes.
There's a
this
lot
was
of good ones out
this
there.
was definitely. Oh, I didn't say that it wasn't interesting.
Interesting is the goal, right? Like that's
Yeah.
more important. Interesting is more important than good, and if it's interesting, then I will take that as a point of pride.
Only problem about ones like these is like it's not for everyone.
No, it's not, and it's not for every time either. You know.
Yeah.
Mhm.
All right. I suppose we can definitely stay here and hang out a bit over on the Sprig side, but
I'm down for hanging out always.
but I figure this is where the YouTube side will wrap, as this is the end of the game. If you just Google "Everyone is John," you can find the rule set. It's supposed to be more competitive, and rather than each of the players having an emotion that they want to direct John towards, the actual rules are that each character has an obsession, and the more times that they get John to do whatever it is that their obsession is, whether it's gluttony or whether it's whatever it happens to be.
Oh, no wonder why our collaboration felt off.
Yeah. Yeah, it's supposed to be a bit more adversarial.
You're supposed to kill a god. And everyone in here is like, all right, bet, let's do this.
Honestly, I could have gone down like an extremely dark path immediately by just like taking control and just like risking a thing. But then again, it's loneliness. It can't be lonely if he's dead. So that's how I justify it.
I also think that this is a take that I bring to every tabletop RPG experience. Is you are Frodo or Bilbo, never Harry Potter.
Mm-hmm.
Fundamentally, as the character of the RPG, you have to want to go on the adventure.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
After you refuse the call to action once, obviously.
Yeah, you can refuse the call to action once, but like,
You gotta refuse it at
or
least once.
initially. But you have to want to go on the adventure because like that's how
Yeah.
the game happens.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's the thing.
That is
Like,
how
you can't-
gaming.
It is how gaming,
it's-
yeah.
Yeah, you can't just. It's kind of like the paradox of like seeing the full story of what was that shooter that was like an anti-war shooter? How did I forget?
Spec
in
Ops the
Dubai.
line?
Yes, Spec Ops the
yeah.
Line. It's like
That's another good tragedy.
it's like yeah, you can technically shut it off at any point, but then that completely defeats the point of finishing the game that you bought and seeing through the experience of
The
it.
experience. Yeah.
It's like I get it,
Yeah,
get
they-
that, but
The developer
That's not
actually said
good.
explicitly that the good ending to the game is turning off the is closing the game when you get to the white phosphorus scene, is just to turn it off. That's the good ending.
it's like yeah, but it's like there's more game. That's
and
the
that's
problem.
that's the compulsion.
That's the point.
That's
Is
yeah.
yeah.
Mhm.
You're supposed to get to the end, not because it's a good ending, like where everyone's happily ever after, but because
you
it's
need
the conclusion of the story.
to. Mhm.
Mm.
Yep.
Because you need to know.
I haven't actually played the game, so I have no idea.
Oh no,
It's one of those games that like it's a very important game of its time. It's going to be very difficult to get a hold of now, but I remember playing it when it first came out. I believe I have a copy of it on the PS3, and that
I think I've only seen like Wooly Versus play through it like fully, but I've always been aware of like its the significant moments, so to speak. At least the phosphorus one, and
Yeah.
how it roughly is at the end.
I know of it, and that it's not a happy ending, and that's it.
Oh yeah, no, it's not.
It's a very powerful experience, and that's something that I value in gaming: is powerful experiences.
Oh,
Remind me, the base idea of the start of the story is literally going into Dubai to try and get someone out.
The actual narrative of what you're trying to do is not important. The story is about is about succumbing to PTSD, about being overwhelmed
I know.
by.
I'm
Yeah,
just,
okay.
I'm just trying to
No, yeah,
remember. what
Yeah, it's Dubai.
initialized.
Yeah,
It's
right.
a semi-post-apocalyptic Dubai that has been ravaged by a dust storm.
Yeah, and you were there just to like get someone out, right?
Yep, I believe so. Yeah,
Okay.
or at least find out what happened to them. I think is the initial
Yeah. Game design.
Game design. So
Yeah.
I was going back and forth between
Sometimes-
like, do we want to do another Gripply session because that would be fun and giggles for everyone? Do I want to
But
do the everyone is
I was out of sorts with the Gripply session because like I wasn't here for that.
yeah. Like, or do I want to do like finally try some of the weird esoteric systems? My other idea was to actually have you all make Kenku and do something that would be, foreshadowing wise. And if we have
That would
another,
also be fun.
yeah, if we have another day where someone can't make it and we still want to play, then that's probably what I'll do. But yeah, that's today.
Yeah.
Well, I had fun.
I'd
thank
say
you.
this was still like very interesting way of doing things. The only,
you.
like I said, the only problem I had was maybe the complete lack of information was a bit much.
Yeah, that was a
But-
choice, and it might not have been the best one on my behalf. That's completely fair.
I understand the logic of it, but
I was kind of thinking of like the Disco Elysium style, waking up with brain fog and trying to step one is figuring out who you are, sort of thing.
Yeah,
But,
but
like-
a big
I think-
aspect
I
of
think-
that required a lot of spending time sitting down and breaking down even basic concepts of that world. And it
It would
wasn't
also
until
be-
like 4 or 5 in-game days that you finally started making decisions that had an impact on the story, that had a dramatic impact on the story.
Yeah, and that's where my failure of
also-
storytelling was, is that I wanted to obfuscate some of the information without really having a solid plan of how to deliver the exposition that you guys needed to be able to, well, do the task. That's me. That's I learned from that.
The thing for me is, I think, just in Disco Elysium, like how much knowledge and even memory you have does depend on your stats. So in this case, it would have like been dependent on the main character being somewhat of a guy with a good memory or like a good knowledge base, even if he
Yeah.
did succumb to even if he
Mhm.
did succumb to his emotions, he would
Let
still
me
have that
rotate
knowledge.
it. I can't rotate the die and it's bothering me.
Oh,
I know, sorry.
oh,
Oh
Mm.
boy.
but still, everybody trying to, like I said, the only problem was here the fact that he only had like one thing related to knowledge, and everything else was completely fine with ignoring the world around them.
Yeah. I'm gonna say.
Despite the want for one's own survival.
I'm gonna sign off on
Get
YouTube. Thank you all for joining. Does anybody have any
Later.
thoughts or closing statements or plugs that you want to make?
Loneliness was the correct answer. We should have just stayed in
Uh,
bed.
Be, I was going to say, be on the
Hmm?
lookout. I'm going to be releasing a trailer for Clutch because I'm releasing the first episode this month.
Oh,
It's finally happening, and I'm sorry it's taken me this long. But I'm making a nice trailer and stuff, and we just finished the final review of it, and it's like it is twice the length of what I had initially promised of this first episode.
welcome to literally every time I try to do a Team Neighborhood episode. Every single time.
All right. Definitely, yeah. I will look forward to that. I'll definitely promote that when it comes out too. Thank you, everybody. You are all wonderful.
Do not listen to
later.
my voice. Do not listen to my voice. It's lying to you all the time.
Good night.